All right, good afternoon. With me today to discuss Tropical Storm Elsa and the potential impact throughout our county, our City Council President Sam Newby, Atlantic Beach Mayor Ellen Glasser, Emergency Operations Director Steve Woodard, Fire Chief Keith Powers, Sheriff Mike Williams, and JEA CEO Jay Stowe. Elsa is on track to impact our area late tonight and throughout Wednesday. The latest track shows that we should begin seeing rain and wind late tonight, with conditions worsening overnight and continuing through Wednesday. While we are on the edge of the cone and not expecting widespread damage, there's still a chance for flash flooding, strong winds, tornadoes, and severe thunderstorms. While we are no stranger to these conditions, it is important that everyone is prepared. Not just for Elsa, the first named storm to impact us this year, but for the remaining months in hurricane season. A recent development is that western Duval County will be under a tropical storm watch, which was also a development this morning. I'm asking everyone to have a plan, know your evacuation zone, and make sure you have a storm kit. jacksready.com has tips to help you get prepared. Please go to their website and follow them on social media for important updates. That's jacksready.com. While at this time we do not expect to open storm shelters or order any evacuations, out of an abundance of caution, we are going to close all city-operated summer camps and pools tomorrow only, Wednesday, July 7th. I've also been informed that Duval County Public Schools student-related summer programs will also be closed tomorrow. That's all student-related camps and summer school for tomorrow. For our unsheltered homeless individuals, Sulzbacher will be providing emergency shelter tonight and tomorrow night, Tuesday and Wednesday. They will be opening temporary sleeping areas, providing sleeping pallets and blankets for people in need of shelter during the storm. Women and families seeking shelter can go to Sulzbacher Village at 5455 Springfield Boulevard, and men go to Sulzbacher Downtown Campus at 611 Adams Street. Our Public Works crews have been out over the holiday weekend surveying and clearing drainage systems in flood-prone areas throughout our city. First responders at our Sheriff's Office and Fire Department are planning and coordinating preparation and response efforts. Our city is no stranger to these events, and we're taking steps to be prepared. As I mentioned, there is a possibility of flash floods in certain areas due to heavy rains and storm surge. If you encounter flooded streets while driving, turn around. Do not drive into high water. Before I close, as many of you are aware, the City of Jacksonville has been conducting a nationwide search for a Chief Resiliency Officer, a position that will be crucial during emergency situations, including storms like this one. I'm happy to announce that we have selected Ann Colanisi for the role, and she will begin in the coming weeks. Ann has worked at the highest levels of the federal government. She led the Coastal Resiliency Program for the City of New Orleans, served on the Coastal Advisory Team for the State of Louisiana's Coastal Master Plan, and worked on the Climate Preparedness and Resiliency Team at the White House Council on Environmental Quality. Ann is a welcome addition to the City of Jacksonville, and I look forward to working with her. In closing, I want to encourage citizens to stay informed by the city website, jacksready.com, our Jacks Ready mobile app, or via local media outlets. Know your evacuation zones and routes so you're prepared if you need to act quickly. Not just tomorrow, but throughout this entire hurricane season. Our city call center is taking calls at 630-CITY and answering questions from citizens. And if you have a medical emergency, dial 911.
Good afternoon. I'm Ellen Glasser. I'm the mayor in Atlantic Beach, and I'm here to represent the 3 beach municipalities. I won't repeat what Mayor Curry already provided in terms of valuable information to prepare, but I do want to say that we've been doing many of the same things with our Public Works Department and with our first responders, and we are ready, and we will be able to respond to any calls for services, any needs that people may have as the next couple of days roll around. We appreciate the work that the county does to support us in these emergencies, and we are a pretty tight community. We work very well together. Specific to the beaches, I will say that we're always concerned about the impacts of rip currents and being in the water. We'll be monitoring those conditions, and so we encourage our residents and visitors to look for those flags. If they go from yellow to red, we strongly discourage people from going into the water. Our lifeguards will be at full staffing. We will be patrolling the beach and looking for that. So please be careful. Don't be that guy that we have to go out and rescue. It happens every year, and we really encourage you to heed the warnings that are out there. Now, specific to the beach municipalities, any city-run services that we have will operate as usual tomorrow. Our offices will be open. We will be ready to ramp up or down depending on how the conditions change throughout the day. And again, we encourage people to monitor those platforms for information, but also look at the beach city websites for specific information about the beaches. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Glasser. I'm Steve Woodard, the Director of Emergency Preparedness for the City of Jacksonville. There's a lot of weather information that's out there this morning, and I think it's important for us to understand the weather where you are. So if you're watching, please check with the local National Weather Service forecast. As the Mayor mentioned, they just in the last hour have put Duval County's western portion under a tropical storm watch. No other parts of Duval County are under a tropical storm warning at this time, but we do expect heavy rains over the next 24 hours. So people should be prepared for that, particularly in the low-lying areas where we normally see flooding along McCoy's Creek or Hogan's Creek up in the Mine Creek area. If your vehicle's in an area that you know is prone to flooding, I recommend that you consider moving that to a higher level so it can be protected. We'll continue to monitor this. We'll have staff working and putting out situation reports, and we'll adjust accordingly if we have any changes. So watch out for the winds and rains that will start later today, and particularly in those low-lying areas. And we're into hurricane season, so it's a good time to be prepared. The Know Your Zone information is also in jacksready.com. Have a kit and have a plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. So specific to tomorrow and this current forecast, people will be out and about tomorrow. So we would just remind people that you shouldn't drive through standing water. If you come to a large intersection and the power is out, you treat it as a four-way stop. If there's an officer in the intersection, follow his instruction as it relates to traffic control. And at this point, we don't anticipate, again, based on the current forecast, closing the bridges. Remember, that's a 40-mile-an-hour sustained wind that closes the bridges, and we don't have that in the forecast as of yet. So, again, as people are out and about tomorrow, we would just ask everybody to be patient and be safe. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jay Stowe, the CEO of JEA. First, I appreciate the close coordination that we have with the city and the other agencies in the room. JEA is focused on maintaining the public health and public safety of everyone in Northeast Florida, including Duval County, St. Johns, Nassau, and Clay County customers that we have. Our team's been meeting throughout the past several days to be prepared for this. In order to keep people as safe as possible, we will be closing our lobby tomorrow, and we are discontinuing the cutoff of utilities for non-payment current now through Thursday. We ask customers to make sure their contact information is up to date on JEA.com, sign up for alerts at JEA.com, and customers who do experience an outage can call 665-6000 to report that, or go to JEA.com to do that. Please stay safe, heed the warnings, and pay attention to what is going on, and we will be prepared to respond if anything does happen in our area. Thank you.
We'll take questions if there are any.
Mayor, just a couple of quick questions on public works, because that's what a lot of people are focusing on now. I've been out with a number of crews, so we know that they're out there. But how many crews do you have out there? And this kind of goes to the sheriff as well, because you used to have the help from inmates to clear out these ditches. I'm told that's not taking place anymore. So what kind of problems is that presenting?
Sure, I'll let the sheriff answer that question in a moment. Look, the Public Works, we put the manpower that we need, both when we are not in a crisis or storm situation throughout the year for maintenance of these things, but then we amp it up when we're facing a storm, and that's what's been happening leading up to this storm. It's what happened in previous storms. So our Public Works are out there doing their thing, as would be expected.
Do you have enough, though? I mean, do you have enough people to do that? Like, how many crews are there?
I mean, Jim, we are 860 plus square mile city, so there's a lot of ground to cover here. But yeah, we have allocated the manpower to go out and do what needs to be done. Anytime you're facing a weather event or a natural event, there are things that happen that infrastructure just can't handle. And you see that from time to time. That being said, we've invested in previous budgets and upgrades of infrastructure to deal with storms like this. This next budget, you'll see that I'll roll out in this July, this month. We'll have significant investments. I just announced, again, the Chief Resiliency Officer. So we're doing what we need to do now, but we're always working to do better. Sheriff?
So, Jim, as you can imagine, we've done a lot of work in the last year and a half or so to really keep COVID protocols in place at the jail. And we're going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future. That's why we don't have those work crews out in the community. So we're responsible for the health and welfare of those inmates. And at this point, we think it's best, that we limit that exposure to the community at large. We're constantly evaluating that in conjunction with the health department and our other partners. And that may change, that posture may change in the future. But as we stand here today, we still have those protocols in place.
I mean, that was a pretty main thing to help with the city in doing this, and it's not there anymore. I mean, do you see that can be a problem?
Well, absolutely, but again, we're responsible for the health and welfare of the inmates as well. So I'd hate to send a crew out, have them come back into the jail, and then I have a massive issue inside the jail as it relates to COVID. So again, we're constantly evaluating that, and we realize that a lot of people have utilized that, especially the city, to help in times like this. But unfortunately, from a priority standpoint, right now, health and welfare and the integrity of the jail system is what we're most concerned about.
And I would add, look, big city, there is no such thing as 100% risk mitigation in anything. Our Public Works knows areas that are prone, and they work those areas. If someone sees an issue in their neighborhood, they should call 630 City and report it, and we have manpower that will go out and take care of it.
Question regarding the crews also. Today, since we do know, certain spots of Duval are trouble spots, even just during the storm, can you tell us what areas crews are going to focus on today as they take a look at those storm drains ahead of Elsa and getting things cleared out? Are there certain areas getting extra attention?
I mean, look, there's a list that we're going to have to deal with. Obviously, San Marco, Ken Knight Drive. I mean, there's a long list of areas that we know are prone to flooding, and those areas are being focused on. There's also areas where we've had citizens that will report, debris or garbage in a space that needs to be cleared. So that's what I would encourage folks. If you see an area that you believe needs to be cleaned, call 630 City. This isn't our first rodeo. We've been previous mayors before me have had to stand up the emergency operations and go through this. We've had a very active 6 years since I've been here. Our Public Works Department has been through this numerous times, and they're out doing their job.
I just have one last question for you while you're here. We obviously found out yesterday Councilmember Pittman and has COVID in the hospital. Are you guys able to comment on Council President as well? How is she doing? As we talk to her?
I'll let Council President Newby speak to any personal information he might have. I would just say that, look, I've known, first of all, Jacoby's a friend. I knew of her long before I knew her as a colleague and a friend. And we've learned the unpredictability of COVID over the last year plus. We're all trying to be responsible and get through this, but she got it. And we have great physicians and great medical care in this community, in this city, and they're doing their job. And I would just encourage people to join me and pray for her.
Yes, I've been in contact with her family today. She has a better day today. She's doing much better, and our thoughts and prayers with her, and she's going to pull it through.
Any more questions?
A question for Jay Stowe, OJA. I know you had mentioned crews are standing by, but are there extra crews? Are they stationed anywhere? How's that going to work? Like we know FPL is all in one place. What's JEA doing?
Yeah, we have our crews that are here on site. We're not moving them anywhere else right now. We've had communication with other agencies for mutual aid to be prepared either to call on mutual aid if we need other people to come help us, or if everything goes smoothly here, that we'll be able to support other areas. And so that's an ongoing conversation that we have, and we have extra crews on standby right now. They're here in Jacksonville.
So your people are working basically overtime, standing by?
Yes.
Is that,
Yes, sir.
have there been any problems? I know you've been out doing tree trimming, everything like that, but has there been an issue in any area that people need to know?
No, we have over the last several years have doubled down the effort to harden the systems to get prepared for both storms like this, and so we've got vegetation management, tree trimming. We are looking at the flood-prone areas for our water and wastewater system to keep that up and running, and we've got a team of people that are ready to respond when they need to.
So we did that public works Monday, a lot of ground to cover. If maybe a public works crew doesn't make it out to someone in time, would you suggest that the neighbor try to clean it
No.
themselves?
No. Call 630 City and report it. I wouldn't suggest that any citizens getting involved in any work that is the work of Public Works. The answer is no.
Take one more question if there's one.
For the Mayor Glazer, just real quick. A little bit not related to the storm, but everybody at the beach is thinking about condominiums and the safety out there, and we've not really heard what's going on with the condos in Atlantic Beach and from the Jacks Beach. What's happening out there? And a lot of people are thinking about that with the storm.
Sure. Well, we are talking to our building officials. In Atlantic Beach, of course, we have a 35-foot height requirement except for our one hotel, that's One Ocean. So we're talking to the owners of those facilities and making sure we monitor what's happening as far as the state guidance on this. We haven't identified any areas of concern at this point, but we are definitely talking about this and trying to learn the best practices moving forward in the future. I will say that today, to change the subject, today is not a good day to go cut the limbs in your yard and put them in the street, so we would really discourage that. We've spent a lot of time cleaning debris and ditches and pumping out retention ponds. Today is not a good day to add to the workload in that respect. I just offer that as a caution to some of our residents out there. So I'm not sure that I totally answered your question, but it's a process.
But are you concerned with the inspection rate on that? I do think things need to change.
Sure, we are concerned, and I've spoken to our city manager about it in terms of our condominiums that we have in Atlantic Beach, in terms of what should we be doing. I can't really speak for Jacks Beach, which has a lot taller buildings than we do. Thank you.